Decarnation is disgusting, but not in a bad way. Instead of empowering the player with superhuman strength and omnipotence, we're forced to play the role of Gloria, a vulnerable young woman who's struggling with the reality of her abduction and the overwhelming toll it's taken on her mind. Prior to her kidnapping, Gloria was a renowned dancer at the Black Swan Cabaret. Despite the fortune and fulfillment one might expect from such a career, Gloria lived an incredibly modest life and was far from rich. When the game begins, we see Gloria posing nude for a sculptor whose work will be featured in a local museum. Once it's completed, she visits the museum to see the exhibition of her statue. Along the way, we notice a major shift in her perspective, and what was once excitement turns into paralyzing hesitation. Fortunately, her girlfriend Joy is there to provide her reassurance and urges her to see the statue. When Gloria musters up the courage, she enters and witnesses a man groping her statue. This feeling disgusts her and causes her to flee the scene, unable and unwilling to tell Joy what she just saw. This is the beginning of a series of unfortunate events that cause Gloria's life to quite literally spiral down into a never-ending abyss. Joy reveals that she doesn't want to get too serious. Gloria's employer at the Black Swan retires her from dancing, and her mother continues to be overly critical of her lifestyle and choices. Ultimately, she falls into a trap where an obsessive stalker abducts Gloria and traps her in a cell. As the days become months, Gloria's desire to escape becomes nothing more than a pipe dream. Instead, her hope is replaced with faceless entities with no dreams of their own, individuals who simply exist but fear the prospect of living. Eventually, Gloria encounters nightmarish versions of herself that represent her gluttony, her inner child, and her wisdom. In such a stressful environment, the comfort of delicious food and the fact that her captors have not harmed her gives her some semblance of a good life, but ultimately she values her freedom above a cozy lifestyle. After mustering up the courage, she takes drastic measures to overcome her fears and regain control of her life, freeing herself in the process. In the end, Gloria doesn't have the picture book happy ending of a superhero, but rather the knowledge that life can go on after such a devastating and traumatic event. From a visual standpoint, Decarnation is full of vibrant colors, detailed sprites, and horrifying scenes. Despite their relatively small scale, the environments are packed full of intricate designs and nightmare-inducing imagery. Simple scenes like a courtyard are transformed into a trans-dimensional hellscape that only a damaged mind could conjure up. Disgusting creatures such as Cagehead are truly brought to life despite the retro-inspired graphics. However, the simple and recycled animations are a huge contrast to the otherwise masterfully created sprites. Aside from the basic action of walking, Gloria is often seen reusing the same exact animations throughout each of the acts, which results in the occasional break from the immersion. The soundtrack is fantastic. Each of the songs featured help amplify the scene and guide the player on what emotions Gloria is feeling. From the upbeat workout routine to the somber tone of her more lucid moments, the music choice in this game was selected very carefully. It even helps capture the Parisian vibe that Decarnation takes place in. The lack of voice acting wouldn't normally pose an issue, but the lengthy scenes that feature near-endless dialogue, which is often more trivial than not, starts to wear on the nerves hours into Decarnation. Now the gameplay is interesting. It mostly revolves around controlling Gloria, the player character, and interacting with points of interest. In nearly every act, there are multiple minigames that can be played that serve as filler more than anything else. The balancing act while stretching, the rhythm-based dance routines, and the breathing exercises all take far too long and don't add any true value to the core of the game. Every once in a while, Decarnation tries to get a bit creative and introduces a different type of gameplay mechanic, but each time, it fell out of place and usually these were never used or seen again. There are also some awkward puzzles that force you to click a series of lights and safely navigate from one area to the next while avoiding monsters that are sensitive to said lights. Considering that Gloria can't run unless it's scripted, these attempts at symbolizing Gloria's fear and stress were just frustrating moments that kept the player from progressing directly to the next area. There is essentially no combat in Decarnation. Instead, the game is more of an interactive story that unfolds smoothly in some sections and then desperately tries to prove that it's a game in others, stifling the progress and padding the game time unnecessarily. Decarnation is an interesting game that tries a bit too hard to be a game. If it focused solely on the mental and emotional trauma in a more realistic light, it could have risen to such greater heights. If more time was spent delving into the monotony and dreadful repetition of life in a cell, there would truly be no need for the horrifying fictional imagery that seems rather out of place. It seems that these nightmarish landscapes were designed to create gameplay opportunities that would break the confining boundaries of a game that takes place entirely in a restricted cell, and allows for a freedom that Gloria didn't feel for quite some time. In the end, it's just a matter of preference. But did you enjoy the fictional nightmare sequences, or would you rather have stuck to the more realistic phases of Gloria's experience? Let me know in the comments below. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me know that you want more content just like this. Click on these videos here to continue your journey, and I'll see you there. Consider becoming a patron for exclusive behind the scenes content, unboxing videos, sneak peeks of my retro gaming collection, and more. And until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. Join the Inhuman community today.